you started it. And, from there, it's a law of large numbers. If you're only trying to connect with one, probably not going to happen. But if you're trying to connect with 10 or 15 or 20 over a month's period of time, you're going to get some people that are connected with, that you guys can share influences with each other, and then together go find more people.
Very well said there, Richard. And also, staying ahead of the social media marketing game, as you said, will give you that marketing edge. You can actually become an influencer, a thought leader. It gives you an opportunity to really impact your business or organization when you start using the social network platforms as that marketing tool and drive people to your door. Now, that door could be your website. It could be your blog. It could be an e-commerce site. It could be a brick and mortar building. Wherever you do business, that is the door you want to drive them to. And each of the platforms provides you a different avenue.
They all have their specialty form of communications. You go back into, like I said, the late 1990s. 6 Degrees was the very first social media site that was out there. Compared to today's standard, it was very rudimentary, but you posted ideas, you posted thoughts, and then people eventually would come back around and make comments on them. It was more like blogging is today, but it was the beginning of everything that happened out there.
Yeah, and then came MySpace and, of course, blogs, Plaxo. All of those came before LinkedIn, which came before Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And Facebook came, roughly started in about 2000 or 2004, a little after LinkedIn. LinkedIn pretty much launched before that, but it wasn't the site that it is today. But now it is the largest networking site. What is the count now? 1.3 billion active users on Facebook, roughly?
Yes, that's the last number I've seen.
And that is where most individuals start, because that's where the majority of the users are. Now, they do not all use it for marketing. In fact, when Facebook a few years ago realized they had to make changes in Facebook because their users were getting a little upset with us businesses coming in and utilizing that space on Facebook to market to them, I guess you could say.
Absolutely.
So they changed.
That's exactly what it was.
And they realized they had to listen to the majority of their users and do some tweaking so that they could make everybody happy there. But again, you mentioned about we need to do things in a certain way in order to achieve our expectations with social media. The first thing you really need to determine is, what is your purpose? Why even think about using social media?
I mean, that's the $64,000 question. Your why, and your why is what you want to do. But once you analyze what you want to do, and the analysis I'm really talking about here is knowing your audience, knowing the people that cut you checks, give you credit cards. You have to know those people. And it's just not by what their gender is or how old they are or their profession. All of that is definitely part of it. But what is it they want to hear? What is it they want to learn? What is it that is their hot button? Because all those things need to be known in order to put all of this together. And, social media allows you to determine that. You can find out a lot about people by just reading their social media sites, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, so on. Before our president-elect, started communicating with Twitter, which he had been doing for a long time before this, Twitter as a political communication tool really wasn't even thought of, from that standpoint. Now, today, Twitter has had a major resurgence, not just in politics, but in everyday communications.
It's fast and it is transparent. It is real time. So if that's the kind of message you want to get out, then Twitter needs to be the platform that you need to be on.
Precisely. And of course, the other side of that is blogging. And that's where if you've got a 1,000-word dissertation you want to put up there, that's where you go to do that style of writing. Mm-hmm. So when you look at all of this, there is a place personally and in business for social media. And social media, as far as business goes, to me, it's really still at its infancy. It's still defining itself every day, every year. It's changing, it's modifying. Pinterest is one of the primary examples. It began as a site for women, and women's fashion in particular. Now you can find almost everything in the world on Pinterest that you might want to consume in picture format. And the neat thing is you put an image up there, the image is clickable.
And Pinterest is a virtual bulletin board where you can actually pin images and videos that will lead the individual that finds these images and videos to your website, to your blog, to your e-commerce. It's a great traffic driver. And again, that's one of the reasons when you're determining your purpose, if you want to drive traffic, that would be a great reason you would want to be using social media to drive the traffic. The next step in line is you have to determine what your plan of action is. And think of these. I want to share a few statistics, and I think these may help one determine their plan, or otherwise known as a strategy or action steps, an action plan.
Mm-hmm.
Social media influences people's connections to nonprofits. 84% of social media users share information about nonprofits to show their support for a cause. I always tell a nonprofit that social media is the next best thing to sliced bread, because it has given them a platform to get their message out to a larger number of people. There are nonprofits that I was not even aware of here in our community until I started seeing their postings on social media. So again, 84% of people that support these nonprofits will actually start sharing their information, which in turn then helps them reach a greater number of people with their cause. It's powerful. And it's free.
I like that word.
Free.
I like that word.
Also, social media influences purchasing. 74% of shoppers rely on social networks to guide purchase decisions. Social media has made it, again, easier for people to buy from you, because you can put information out there about your products, about your services, not to sell to them, but to lead them to where they can buy from you. And that's where you have to understand how to practice the art of unselling. And we'll share more about that in just a few moments.
My favorite word.
And then one more statistic I want to share, and then I would like you to go into that. Social media platforms also help you tell your friends about you. So that they can actually become your next best customer, so to speak. 43% of people have purchased a product that's been shared or favorited by a friend on social media. That's where you build that tribe or community, your team of brand ambassadors to help you expand your reach and get that message out there so that more people, again, will know about you. But again, we have to be very, very focused on how we are getting the message out, because again, you have your purpose, you're building a strategy, meaning and a plan of action and how you're going to use the sites, but then you have to start actually posting, and the posting is where the activity is, and that is universal across all the sites. You have to have that purpose and plan before you start doing that, because that's where the implementation of the strategy takes place, and that's where you need to know that art of unselling.
Absolutely. So let me ask you a question. When you're looking at a social media post, how do you know that person, or how do we identify that person as being a person that really knows and understands social media? What would somebody look for?
Well, one of the things they want to start looking for are people that are asking questions. I kind of use a term of listening by watching the postings coming through the news feed. And I listen for specific words by scanning the messages. That will help me determine if that is who I want to definitely have a conversation with and connect with, if they're looking for something specific. For example, the other day, I saw a message come through. Someone was looking for a carpet cleaner. And
you mean people actually ask for carpet cleaners
yeah,
on Facebook?
And here's why. People ask, who do you recommend? Who do you know? That is why you have to, goodness, this goes back to other topics we've spoken about, build a relationship so that people get to know, like, and trust you, so that when there are others out there asking for your specific skill, knowledge, talent, they will feel comfortable sharing your name to their community, because they want to make sure that they're sharing the right person. It's nothing different than a networking, face-to-face in a networking group or leads group.
Oh yeah, it's like if somebody asks me, just going back to carpet cleaners again, what carpet cleaner do I recommend? You know, it doesn't matter whether it's online, offline, or in between lines. I'm putting my reputation at stake when I say this is the person you need to talk to about. And so it is a double-edged sword, so to speak, because you've got to know these people and you got to understand what it is, and you have to recognize the difference between a true pro on social media, not in what somebody they recommend does, but a true pro on social media is a person that's leading you, not telling you.
So one of the things you need to do in a certain way is definitely know who your ideal client is, who you want to attract, and then you need to make sure that your message is being put in a post in a way that resonates with those individuals you want to attract to you, or that will resonate with individuals that will be comfortable sharing your information with others. You have to connect with, this is where it kind of, I hear this all the time. You have to have what we call your friends page on Facebook. That's your personal profile. And you have to be comfortable connecting with people on that friends page. Liken it to joining a networking group, BNI, a Chambers Leads group, an association where you're actually connecting with people you don't really quite know yet, but you're willing to build a relationship with, because they're going to be a referral source for you. You then start communicating with them, and as you build out your business on social media, you would then, again, on Facebook, create that Facebook business page and invite them to come over and learn more about your business. So yes, you do need both.
So you've got to have both.